At the time of my son's diagnosis, we were given very little information from health professionals. That's just our experience. Information we were given was mainly incorrect information. And it was a really scary time for us trying to navigate the news of this new diagnosis, and trying to find the right information. So it was around about this time that I found the support group, the Timothy Syndrome support group. And, like many other families, I was told, not to Google, do not go onto Google, don't look on there. I'm thankful that I did, because had I not, I wouldn't have found Sophie, and the support group. And, I think we would have been really lost had we not found it. And, I think we have gained a lot of knowledge and information since being a part of that group. So for us, we had almost 8 years of not knowing of my son's condition, living, a relatively normal life, aside from neurodevelopmental issues and, everything that comes with that. We were not aware of his condition. Life after his diagnosis did change. It changed a lot for him and us as a family. Your priorities change, your mindset shifts a lot. Everything has so much more meaning. You're always hyper aware, what's going on, and you're probably worrying and thinking about things you probably wouldn't have thought about, prior to this. And, I'm aware that it must have been an incredibly difficult adjustment for him, being so young, even if he did cope with it so well at the time. So what began as us navigating this personal journey as a family quickly grew into a passion for advocacy and supporting the CACNA1C community. I knew that was something I wanted to pursue. I just didn't know exactly what that looked like. So last year, I had the privilege of joining the TSA board officially as a trustee, and it's been a really incredible and meaningful experience being a part of it. I can't thank Sophie enough, because she's always been there for us no matter the time of day. And sometimes I really do send messages quite late. Our family is not much. We're not sleepers. So she's always there, and she's there for everybody. And she genuinely has so much time for all of us. Don't want to make you cry. Um, so again, I've had the opportunity to get to know some of the families already through social media campaigns. And I find it really touching hearing everyone's personal stories. And I really appreciate the time that people have had for me, and giving me their stories. And honestly, you're all great. And I think that has also helped me a lot with how open I am and how much I share. Because I think at the beginning of this journey, I didn't share things. I kind of kept it to myself. I didn't really like talking about it. So now I'm a lot more open. Um, so like speaking as a parent, it's really great to see we have some amazing individuals backing the Timothy Syndrome Alliance and doing some great work, which we have, seen today. Um, and the TSA really puts their all into everything that they do, and to make sure they're providing us with the most accurate information, you know, giving us access to things that we probably might not necessarily have without them. So with all of that being said, I am super excited to share something that I've been working on, which will be coming very soon. I'd like to introduce our new blog called Beyond Genes. The intention was to create a safe space for individuals to share any of their thoughts, their feelings, anything that's going on in their daily lives, somewhere for you to decompress. So you're probably thinking, what really is Beyond Genes? What does that mean? So Beyond Genes is a space created specifically for those affected with CACNA1C related disorders, Timothy syndrome, and long QT8, whether that's directly, indirectly. So are you impacted yourself? Are you a close family member? Are you a carer of a child? The idea is for people to come together to share your individual experiences. I wanted a space where you could tell your own stories exactly how you wanted to. in completely your own words. Whether that's where it all began for you and your family, it could be your diagnostic journey, how far you have come, and currently where you are, or, things that you can see facing that you're, going to be facing soon. It can be anything from what's on your mind or even how your day went. The post on there could be anything ranging from good experiences and, the not so good experiences, because we know ourselves that it does come with a lot of hard experiences that we have to go through. All feelings are completely valid and more than welcome. And I'm not here to dilute your stories. I just wanted to give you that platform to share them and to be able to express yourself. And yeah, I think that, I think for me, it's something that I enjoy doing. I have like a journal and I'll write some things down. Um, so yeah, so maybe there's something you would like to share or just want other people to know about. Is there something that somebody else reading could take hope from or something they could relate to? Maybe you got up in the morning, you got ready, you got your child ready, you got to school on time. I think we all know that's a massive achievement. Or you had an important appointment that day, or, it could be literally anything. But I think it could be good to know that you're not alone in this and to feel seen and supported too. Um, the whole reason I wanted to start this blog initially was because I saw a gap. I saw a need for it. Genetics have brought us all together, but it's so much more than that. I want a place for you to share with each other and use this, really as a positive outlet. And, I do still feel like it's an impactful way, for us to continue raising awareness for CACNA1C. And, the best way to do that is with real people, with real stories in real time, um, just really putting down our feelings and honestly, whatever you want. um, so the blog, which will be accessible through our website, timothysyndrome.org, and all the information will be on there once it goes live. And then really just want to use this opportunity to, if you had any feedback or questions or, anything like that, you can, pop them in the chat and I can hopefully try to answer them for you. So keep a lookout in your emails. There will be a blog story submission form that will be accessible through the website, and on that we'll have like drop down boxes of all your information. It'll tell you how to submit your blogs. You'll have like all the relevant drop down boxes on there. And all posts submitted will be moderated and approved by myself. For the blogs themselves, anything around 300 to 1,000 words is ideal, but it's really not essential. It's not super rigid, and you don't have to be like this amazing writer to, there's no pressure. So if you can't get the 300 words, that's absolutely fine. There will also be the option to remain anonymous, but please bear in mind that once all the blogs are on the website, they will be public. So anyone accessing the website can read them. None of your personal information that is sent to me will ever be made public as well. And I would just like to add that there's no pressure whatsoever to feel like you have to do this. I'm not asking you or telling you to do it. It's just I wanted to create that space and have it available there for people who might want to use it. Yeah, so I'm really excited about that, and hopefully it will, grow into something. Of course, I want to say a big thank you to Sophie for taking my idea on and giving me that space to give to you all as well. And of course to Dimitri, who was behind the scenes doing all the technical stuff that I couldn't do myself. um, it was, he's been absolutely great. So yeah. So before I finish, I would like to share a little personal journal entry I have written. Um, it might sound a bit bizarre, but my son is heavily into gaming. He is a gamer. He's a YouTuber. It's his whole world, and I'm not ashamed to admit myself and my husband we also are. So kind of the context of the entry that I have written is around written through the eyes of Minecraft. If you don't know what Minecraft is, it's a online game, it's a creative game. A lot of kids play it, so you might have heard of it. So I'll read that to you now. Our journey didn't start with answers. It started with questions, lots of questions. It started with confusion, fear, overwhelming anxiety, numbness, anger, bitterness, a sense of isolation that's hard to put into words, a feeling that you don't think will shift. Almost like we've been dropped into a world with no map and no guide. I sort of liken it to when we play Minecraft together. If you're familiar with it, I know it might sound silly, but hear me out. We've spent hours crafting our perfect little house, mining, building, decorating, but then without warning, I'm teleported, just like that. I'm no longer in our house or even in a familiar world we'd spent hours shaping together. Instead, we find ourselves alone in an unfamiliar, desolate landscape, big, empty map. No way to go back, no clear path forward. The only thing left to do is to keep moving. And that's what we do. We keep moving forward and we rebuild. We continue building our beautiful life. Meanwhile, my son, he's teleporting himself all over the map, having fun, just being a kid, a little oblivious to our surroundings. I'm back at our base camp fighting the monsters, protecting us. And that's a way I will always carry for him. I will always fight. We go on little adventures and we stumble across villages packed with villagers, people's just like us navigating this world. And suddenly we aren't alone anymore. So just before I finish, I would just like to thank everyone. And I would just like to add, as a parent, you know, I'm so deeply grateful to every single person involved, from the families who share their stories to the professionals working hard behind the scenes, and you know, Sophie, who's made this her life mission. And yeah, your dedication has changed lives. So thank you.